Okay, we're changing out the switches. I'm going to see if I can get this one. Okay, see that? Please zoom in. I pulled that out, and that's why I don't stab in the back of a receptacle or a switch. This one was held on, that other one pulled right off. That's the connections I'm talking about. That's the connections that over time you are currents flowing, you're heating up and cooling down, and eventually those springs, sorry I just blinded you in the camera, those springs go bad. Loud. So when you have a bad connection like that, you're creating heat. That's the bad stuff. You don't want to do that on electrical. So the other thing here too is I am updating these switches and plugs. So the old ones did not have grounds. These have grounds. So I gotta. Sometimes if they leave a tail, I can get to it. But right here, just getting rid of this ground ring, or the ground crimp, sorry. So I cut it with a pair of dikes if I want to be able to get on and add a pigtail, because my new, see, it's not too hard to get to them. And again, they're short. People used to like to save 3 inches of wire on their makeup back in the day. It's just like if that's what's driving your profits down, then you're doing something else wrong. So I'm just adding a little pigtail, putting a wire nut on it. Apologize if the lighting's a little off, but there. Got a pigtail installed. Stuff that sucker back in the corner. You know, yep, everything's good and tight. On the old ones, you just check your terminations. Neutral goes back in there. It's tying through. This is a three-way for a hallway here. So we have our travelers and our common. So, and the new switches I got, I'm going to leave a little slack so you can pull that out later. I'll go ahead and trim my ground wire here. That's what the little hole in the strippers is for. Put it through, you get that nice little loop. I got some decent switches. They do not cost much more. They're actually side wired. We have a little side clamp, so you can leave these straight out, just like they were stabbed in the back, except now they're going to be clamped. So again, wires that are curling around go the direction of when you're tightening the screw. Clockwise. I'm going to go ahead and you can do this by hand. I usually have my drill. I got it below me, but this doesn't take too long. So when you're doing 3 ways, you're going to have a black and 2 brass screws typically. The 2 brass screws are your travelers. So here's my common. That is power in and or going up to the light on a 3-way setup. So get that in, so that's going to go under the black screw. The brass again on this, black brass. Black is common, brass is your travelers. Again, here's the other brass screw on this side for the other traveler. Okay, so now these are not going to just pull out of the back when somebody opens this device. Again, doesn't need it, but I just go ahead and wrap a little tape. you know, less chance to protect those live terminals. You never know. And tape is relatively cheap. Usually do 2 wraps. I like white tape or colored tape, not black so much, because these colors tend to not leave a residue. If you come off, the black tape usually leaves a little bit of a black stickiness there. So again, they actually list top on the device. These are Leviton, so they actually have some lettering on the face of the switch, which also helps. Again, put this in, push it to where when I do the final tightening, the switches don't need to be as tough as a receptacle because you're not plugging in and out, just hitting the switch like that. So I leave them a little bit loose if the trims aren't going on, which they're doing some painting in here. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. If you got something out of it, hit the like, hit the subscribe. I'll be doing more just regular good practice electrical work. Thanks for joining.